Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Sekrefifa for inviting me as one of the speakers for Sekrefifa studio program, which has been organized during this MCO period. The topic that I want to talk today is relating to MCO and its impact to human rights in Malaysia. So an analysis from the perspective of Federal Constitution. So as we know, this topic may fall within the subject of administration of Islamic law in Malaysia, as well as constitutional law, as well as Malaysian legal system. So I just want to touch on the enjoyment of human rights, which has been restricted during this MCO period. So first of all, I would like to stress at this very beginning that as we know that there are a number of articles stated in our Federal Constitution, namely Article 5 until Article 13, that listed list of human rights or fundamental liberties of our people of Malaysian citizen, which will be guaranteed and protected by the Federal Constitution. So any acts, anything that has been done by other people that can violate these human rights will be considered as unconstitutional or again with the Federal Constitution. However, what we want to talk today is there are a number of rights, there are a number of freedoms which have been restricted during this MCO period. So as we know that the purpose of introducing this policy, the implementation of this MCO order or movement control order, is for the purpose of fulfilling the right to life, the security of the people, the public health purpose of the country. So because of that, there is a need for the government, for the authorities through the respective agencies to put some restriction in order to ensure that the pandemic, the virus, the COVID-19 virus will not spread within the community. So this is what we call the principle of minimizing any possible chances for the spread of this pandemic. So I just want to touch a number of not everything I want to touch. I just want to touch only about four rights, fundamental right, which has been guaranteed under our Federal Constitution. Number one, first of all, is Article 9, which is related to prohibition of banishment and freedom of movement. So as we know, this is a very basic freedom of our people. So before MCO, we know that we are freely given the right to go anywhere, to travel from our hometown to our workplace. From anywhere we want to go within this Federation of Malaysia without any problem. There will be no people that will stop us from moving around within this country. But now there are restrictions. The police department, the police personnel, the authorities will stop us and stop and ask us why there is a need for us to move, and then otherwise we will be asked to return to our house, because we need to remain in our house, to stay put in our house for the purpose of reducing any possibilities of for the spread of the COVID-19 disease. So in other words, we can say that the MCO, because of this MCO, our freedom of movement has been restricted, because we know that every single freedom or every right which has been guaranteed under the Federal Constitution can only be enjoyed insofar as it will not affect three things: public order, public health, and morality. So I think in this case it relates to public health. So of course, in order to ensure the safety, the healthy, as well as the security, the life of the people at large, at all, as a whole. So there is a need for the government to come out with this MCO. And then the next freedom Okay, in addition to freedom of movement, there are also other freedom which also has been affected by the implementation of MCO, which is under Article 10, which is freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom of association. So I think out of these three, freedom of speech and freedom, which is also include freedom of expression, and then freedom of assembly, which has been affected by MCO. Okay, if you look at freedom of speech and expression, so of course it is not only during this MCO, so I believe before MCO or at any other time, so this is the right that has always been regulated and restricted, because there is no absolute freedom of expression, because we have Defamation Act, we have Multimedia Act that will govern any elements of violation of this freedom of speech. But I want to touch a little bit more detail on Article 10 Clause 1 and Clause B, which is freedom of assembly. We know that before MCO, we can have any gathering, whether it is social in nature, religious in nature. For instance, wedding ceremony, we can go to pray to the mosque, Friday prayers. But now, we can no longer enjoy such freedom, because there is a possibility that the pandemic, the virus, can spread when we have that gathering. So because of that any kind of gathering, any kind of social program that involve more than one, or more than two or three people and more, so it have to be avoided. So the more we restrict the social restriction, the social interaction, so the higher the possibility that this disease will be avoided, or in other words, we can break the chain of this disease from spreading within our community. So in other words, we can understand this also actually related, directly related to the next article that I want to discuss, which is Article 11, which is freedom of religion. So we know that freedom of religion empowers us, I mean the citizen or the community within this country, to enjoy our right of freedom of religion. For instance, to exercise, to manifest, to practice our religion by going to the places of worship. For the Muslim, we go to the mosque. For the Christian, they go to the church. And for the Buddhists and to Hindus, they go to the temple. So we have the right actually to go to our respective places of worship to exercise our freedom of religion. But we understand that during this MCO, this kind of freedom has been put some restriction has been put in place by the authorities in order to ensure that we can reduce the possibility of spreading this disease. Okay, so we cannot say that this is a violation of our freedom of religion. We cannot go, I know and I understand, because this is also, as my experience, this is I think this majority of us may feel the same thing, which is this is our first ever experience throughout our life where we have been we have been banned from going to the mosque to perform prayers, even though in the next coming Ramadan we also cannot enjoy our right to go to the mosque to have iftar ceremony, to go to pray for a tarawih prayer. So this is something rare, will never happen before. But since if we look at the federal constitution, this is something that is in accordance with the principle of maintaining the life, which is from the Islamic principle. We know that in Islam we have our objective of the Sharia, which is to take care or to protect our life, okay, which is hifzun nafs. Okay, so because of that, the hukum or the ruling can be changed in order to make it in line or in accordance with our effort to take care of our life. Okay, and then if you look at other articles, freedom, other than freedom of religion, there is also other right, which is right to education. under Article 12. So we know that everyone, especially our student, school pupils, university students, as well as the lecturers and the school teachers, they have the right to go to their respective institution in order to enjoy the right to education, whether to provide education or to get access to the education service. So this is a very basic right. Before the MCO, if anyone has been stopped from going to school, from going to the university, to get education in this learning institution, it is considered as violation of human right of that people, because it is a basic human right to get education, because with better education we will get better life. So because of that, if you look at during this MCO period, this right as well has been restricted. So we cannot go to the school. So the Ministry of Education need to amend the timetable or the academic calendar, especially in order to ensure that we are 100% sure that the environment in school is safe for our students to have their education activities or PNP activities, as well as in the university. As far as we are concerned, the academic calendar is concerned, so there are a number of universities have taken initiative to amend their respective academic calendar to suit with the implementation of MCO. So I believe the main purpose of doing this is in order to ensure that we are in the position of suitable environment, safe, where the safety and security of the student will be protected, will be guaranteed. Then we can allow this right to education to be enjoyed by our people. So I think that's all I want to discuss today. So I just want to repeat the rights which will be affected by the MCO, among others, include freedom of movement under Article 9, freedom of speech and assembly and association under Article 10, and then freedom of religion under Article 11, Article 12, which is the right to education. And on top of these rights, there are also some other rights which have also been restricted. If you realize, the right to get married as well, okay, the freedom to get married, to organize wedding ceremony. I mean, the solemnization ceremony has also been restricted because of this MCO, because we need to practice social distance. So we can understand how the person who will organize the solemnization, he cannot shake hand with the person, with the man that want to get married. So this is something like very rarely happened before, but this is in accordance with the principle of protecting the life of our people. And then the other thing is, if you realize, there are also some other rights which also been restricted, which is the right and freedom to involve in business. Okay, the right of freedom to to operate business activities. So we can see there are some business operation which has been requested to close during this MCO, not because of to violate their freedom to involve in business, but to ensure that these shops or this business operation will not be the platform for the people to meet each other. Okay, I think that's all that I want to share today. I hope whatever we have discussed today will fulfill the objective and the purpose of this event, Sekrefifa Studio. So once again, I would like to thank to the organizer, Sekrefifa, for inviting me to share my thoughts which related to the topic, and I would like to apologize as well if there are any weaknesses, any lacking throughout my presentation session. So once again, I would like to wish all the best to all the students for this semester and in the future. Stay safe, so take care of yourself, stay safe, stay at home and stay healthy, inshallah. See you again inshallah in June, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.